Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lunch and Learn, live today. I know it is Labor Day, but I decided I would jump on anyway. So give me a shout out, say hello if you are watching. So I know you are. I'm just making sure that we are being shared to the private Facebook community, and I think that we are doing that. So I'm confirming, and I'll give everybody a chance to sign on in and join us today. Today we have a really hot topic, and that is going to be about this stubborn weight loss. So if you've been struggling with stubborn weight loss, then this is going to be the podcast for you. So let's get everyone started and go ahead and use the chat box. Let me make sure I've got it all open and I can see everyone and the comments section. All right, we are good to go. So I want to dive in. I hope everyone is having a fabulous day. So today we're going to talk about why midlife weight loss kind of feels impossible and the science of how to actually reset it. So I'm going to go through 7 different foundations for you today in today's Lunch and Learn Live, and give us a shout out and tell us hello. So I'm Dr. D, and I'm so glad that you're taking this time for yourself today. So grab your lunch, grab your notebook, and let's go ahead and dive right in. So here's the truth, you guys. Weight loss at midlife, it's different, right? It's different than maybe weight loss that you've tried for before. And if you've ever said to yourself, oh, I've done, XYZ and the pounds would just come off, but now nothing works. Well, you guys, your body is not malfunctioning. You are not delusional either. Your body isn't betraying you. The rules when we enter midlife, when we enter perimenopause, menopause, and beyond, the rules simply change when it comes to weight loss. And I know no one's giving you that new playbook, when in fact we have to pay attention. It's, think about it. It's kind of like your iPhone. Every so often, those operating systems, they have updates, and if you try to run new apps on the old systems, or even your computer, not just your iPhone, but if you try to run new apps on the old system, they crash. And it's kind of the same thing. Midlife is your body system update. And if you're keeping using the same old diet and exercise apps, they don't actually run. So today I'm going to share with you science-backed, behind this update. I've been doing a lot of research, a lot of time on our upcoming 9-week True Body Reset weight release program that starts on September 24th. There is a Labor Day holiday special on it, so you make sure you get over to that link and get yourself registered so you can enjoy the special pricing. But you guys, we've got to understand what are the foundations that do actually work. And then rather than throwing darts at the dartboard, trying to hit a bullseye all the time, right? Guessing, okay, we're trying this fad or that fad or this next thing or that next thing. We need a very systematic approach, because when we bring a systematic approach to midlife weight release, then we actually start to see results. And there's so much power when those results start to come in. It's like the frustration dissipates. We feel better in our own skin. We feel more confident, but more importantly, we improve and enhance our health. And that by and far, in my mind, is the most important thing. So let's go through the 7 foundations. So number 1, menopause and your hormonal changes, they actually change the rules of weight loss. So estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, DHEA, they're like your conductors of your metabolic orchestra, so to speak. And when they shift, the entire rhythm changes. Okay, you guys. So there was a study by Harvard Health that actually found that women in perimenopause and menopause gain about 1.5 pounds per year on average. Okay. So think about that. So perimenopause starts at all different times. Sometimes it starts before you've even realized that it started. And so you've got that 1.5 pounds per year coming on. And that happens even if you don't eat more, even if you are moving more. And the reason why is hormone signaling. Okay, the hormone signaling that actually shifts your fat storage to your belly, right? That starts to come into play. And it also, what happens is, as we're moving through that period, we lose muscle mass. And you guys all know that, muscle mass is burning more calories, right? Is lighting up your metabolism more than anything else. So we've got this issue where now the signaling shifts, but we're lowering our muscle mass. And so we're in this sort of, it's like we're running uphill with a weight attached to our back. Okay. So I want you to think about it too, because the way we need to reframe this, instead of thinking like, oh my gosh, this is a detriment, my body is fighting against me, right? My body's fighting me. I want you to think about maybe your body's asking you to listen to it in a new way, right? Maybe your body's asking to listen in a new way. And I mean, that's exactly why we created the system in our 9-week True Body Reset, because it helps to actually work with those new hormonal rhythms that occur in midlife rather than against it. When we can get aligned with them, then we can actually get the weight to release. And this is a very powerful piece. So let's go to foundation 2. So foundation 2 is really about toxicity and how toxicity stalls our metabolism. And the truth is, we just go by the foundation of time, right? The movement of time. So as we start to move into midlife, we've now had this accumulation of toxin buildup that maybe never reached the threshold of causing issues before, but now it's kind of stacked itself up, and now we have issues. So I want you to think about your fat cells. They're like storage lockers. Okay. And when your body becomes overloaded with toxins, things like plastic, how many of you are still drinking out of plastic water bottles? Even if you're going to the gym, right? You're carrying those plastic water bottles with you, or when you're on the go, or, all those things. So plastics, pesticides, heavy metals, all these things. What happens is your body's really smart. It locks them away in your fat cells to protect you. Okay. It locks them away in your fat cells to protect you. But here's the catch, you guys. If your storage unit is full, so if those storage units are full, your body actually resists opening the door. So it won't release the fat because it doesn't feel safe. Got it? So toxicity plays a big role in our weight gain as well. There was a study in 2020 in the Lancet, Diabetes and Endocrinology, and they showed that there is a link between endocrine disrupting chemicals. So endocrine disrupting chemicals are the chemicals that disrupt your hormones, things like BPA, right? Bisphenol A, PFAs. So you guys, these things, they contribute to stubborn weight gain. So if we're not actually detoxing our body, then our body is holding on to the weight. And this is why, detox, it's not like a luxury spa treatment. It's not like taking a bunch of laxatives and pooping your brains out. It's actually a necessity if you want your body to trust, okay, and to be able to release fat. And in our 9-week reset, we build this in gently, because if detox isn't done correctly, it can actually backfire. I'll say that again, because I know there's all these sort of fad detoxy things out there, but if detox isn't done correctly, it backfires. And in this case, we need to be concerned, because we want your body to release weight and not to hold on to it. So gentle detoxification is very important for weight release, for your body to feel safe. Okay, so that's foundation number 2. Foundation number 3, and this is one you may have heard before, but may have not put the emphasis on. And that is that weight loss requires sleep and it requires breathing. Okay. So one night of poor sleep, for example, you guys, it can reduce your insulin sensitivity by 33%. Okay. So insulin is really important because it's making sure that the body, the cells are getting what they need. But if our body becomes so out of tune with the insulin, or what we call insulin sensitivity or insulin resistance, okay, when it resists that sensitivity, then we end up with all sorts of blood sugar regulation issues. And then the body sends the message to go ahead and store as fat. And that's what we want to avoid in our midlife if we're looking to release weight. So one night of poor sleep can actually reduce your insulin sensitivity by 33%. That's what the science shows us. And that means that your body's actually responding like you're pre-diabetic after just one bad night of sleep. So getting your sleep into rhythm is going to be crucial for bringing your body back into that weight release state and maintaining that homeostasis. So you want to make sure, you guys, that you're going to bed at the same time, that you're getting up at the same time, that you're having that natural normal rhythm. And again, it comes back to your body feeling safe and the regulation of your hormones. Now, the other thing that I think is pivotal for weight release, especially in our midlife years, is breathing. And I don't know about you guys, but we live in a pretty, this is my opinion, we live in a pretty stressful day and age. I think most people are walking around with some sort of stress or tension that they're holding in their body. And maybe it's been that you've been holding the stress or tension in your body for so long that you haven't even realized that you're holding the stress and tension in your body anymore. But one of the things that happens is we end up with really shallow breathing. And the funny thing is, you guys, 84% of your fat loss leaves the body through the lungs as carbon dioxide. I'll say that again, right? 84% of fat loss leaves the body through the lungs as carbon dioxide. Okay, and that's from the British Medical Journal, you guys. So yes, literally, I mean, that's the irony, right? Literally, you breathe fat out. So think about it. If you were always in a shallow state of breath, guess what's not moving? The fat's not moving, right? So that breathing is not only important because that's the way that fat leaves your body, is through the breath primarily, but the other piece of it is that when we're not breathing, we end up in this crazy fight or flight state. Our body feels the tension and doesn't feel safe enough to begin to release weight. Plus, on top of that, our cortisol is rising. And cortisol is contributing to our belly fat, and so on and so forth. It's contributing to our belly fat, contributing to our blood sugar regulation. And now we're in like this spiraling vortex. And in our perimenopausal, menopausal years, we're even more sensitive to these things. So now it's like, it's a whole storm of chaos as a result. So that breathing piece it's really important, you guys. Think of sleep as your body's nightly housekeeping service. So if your things are not getting cleaned up, then we're not releasing weight. If the night cleaning service never comes in and shows up, well, the trash piles up and fat loss stalls. And so if we're not breathing, it's the same darn thing, right? That's like the door to let the trash out. If we're not actually letting the trash out, we're not releasing weight. So if you are in this space of like, you're in midlife, you're in perimenopause, you're in menopause, and you're like, I need to get this weight off, this is one of those foundational keys. Because I'll tell you guys, starving yourself, exercising yourself like crazy, those are not the things that work anymore, especially in midlife. So those of you who are like, hey, in my 20s or 30s, I used to be able to just go out and exercise more, reduce my calories, eat a little more raw vegetables, and my entire weight would shift. That game doesn't work anymore. Okay, the game doesn't work anymore once we're, in that midlife transition there. So you guys go ahead, put questions in the comment section and let me know what questions you have. I totally want to hear from you because this content is really important, you guys. And these are all the things, by the way, that we are going to be addressing in our 9-week True Body Reset program, which is going to start on September 24th. So if you haven't seen it, go to our Facebook page and look for it because you want to get yourself. Actually, I think I might have a link here. Let me see if I can grab the link. You definitely want to get yourself enrolled in that program. And honestly, it's a no-brainer, right? Because the program comes with a guarantee, right? If you don't lose the weight, then we'll make sure that you do. So hold on a second as I go in ahead and grab a link. I thought I grabbed one before I started, but this has its own thing. But go ahead, use this time while I'm searching for this to go ahead and put your questions in the comment section. So far we have covered several of the foundational pillars here, and I want to jump in and get the rest. Okay, so I put the link in the comment section there, you guys, for that 9-week True Body Reset. Today is Labor Day, you guys. We do have a Labor Day sale on it. So for the next couple of days, there is a 15% discount on your enrollment. So I encourage you, of course, take advantage. Don't wait for the last one. Okay, so you guys, we covered already 3 of the foundational steps. So if you're just joining in and you missed it, go back and listen to the replay. You can find this on our South Bay Wellness YouTube. It does stay in our Facebook for a little while, but I do believe Facebook cycles them. So number 1 was that menopause changes the rules. That was number 1. Number 2 was about toxins and how they stall your metabolism. Number 3 is about how weight loss requires us to sleep and breathe. And let's move on to number 4. Okay. So number 4 is, about long state cardio, because we've been told over and over again that cardio, this long state cardio is going to help you release weight in general. Okay. But actually the game changes in midlife. So remember when the message was like, more cardio, more calories burned, more weight loss. Well, that advice is outdated once we hit midlife. So long, steady cardio will actually raise your cortisol. And the other thing it'll do is it'll start to break down your muscle. And when those things happen, you guys, it's sending a signal to your body to store fat. Okay. And that's not what we want. So we want to move away from that long state cardio, which I don't know, it's good news for me, guys. I don't know about you, but I don't have like 2 hours a day to go to the gym and stand on the treadmill or go for a run or do those things. Like, I know you're probably like me, you've got lots of things going on during the course of the day, but this long state cardio actually is not helping with weight loss once we hit midlife. Okay. I want you to consider this. Like, think of your muscle like engines in your car. Okay. So cardio is like burning the fuel, but what muscle does is it upgrades the engine. So which do you want running long-term? Okay. Do you want to keep doing that, or do you want to build the muscle? And what we want to do is build the muscle. And as we talked about earlier, right, muscle helps us burn calories. Now, outside of the weight release component of building muscle, you guys, it's important to know that our one of the major predictors of our longevity, right, is our bone and muscle mass. Okay, it's our bone and muscle mass. So what happens is, due to hormonal shifts in midlife, our body doesn't as easily create the lean muscle that it used to create. Okay. Now, it's not a death sentence, but what it does mean is that we have to put a little bit more focus and prioritization on that strength training side in order for us to actually be able to build that muscle, which maintains our health and our longevity. Okay. So I know most people are like, oh, we're aging. We want more time to sit and relax. Well, doing that could actually be more of a detriment. You want to keep your body in motion, right? You want to keep your body in motion. You want to focus on that weight training and that strength training. And the other thing you want to do is you want to focus on what we call burst training, okay, or what Stacy Sims calls sit training, which is where you're basically going through a valley of high intensity, low intensity, high intensity, low intensity, and you don't need to do it for very long, right? Maybe 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. That's all you really need to do, and then add in your strength training, and that's going to make a world of difference. Okay. In the 9-week True Body Reset program that we have, we focus on short, smart, body weight workouts that are designed for midlife metabolism, right? Not punishing ourselves with cardio, but actually part of those workouts is really coming back into tune and reconnecting with your body. I don't know about you guys, but I love it when I do a workout and like I feel like my body is strong. I'm like, thank you, body. And we all know that every workout always takes something. The more you put into that workout, the more you get out of it. So you want to challenge yourself, whatever it is that takes for you. Okay, so that was foundation number 4. So foundation number 5 of the 7 that we're going to cover here is around blood sugar and insulin, because this is key, you guys. By 50, over half of women in the United States show some degree of insulin resistance. Okay, that's CDC data. So by the age of 50, they're already showing insulin resistance. And insulin is the real fat loss switch. Okay, so imagine insulin is like the key to your body's fat burning lock. Okay. And when you're consistently grazing, when you're consistently stressed, when you're consistently not sleeping, what happens is the key gets bent and it no longer opens the lock. And so now your weight release stalls. Okay. So we've got to start to pay attention what is happening, how our blood sugar is being managed, and how do we actually get our body to pay attention to that insulin. For example, one of the things that we've been taught, popularly, like the fad, is around fasting. And fasting, you guys, is amazing. I don't want to negate the benefits of fasting, because there are many benefits to fasting. But for women in midlife, the game of fasting changes, right? If you're not eating until 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, well, something happens, right? In the morning when you wake up, if your body is functioning properly, and a lot of this too is about getting your body back into a rhythm with your hormones. But if your body is functioning properly, your cortisol is supposed to rise in the morning. It's what wakes you up. It's what gets you out of bed. It's what opens your eyes, is that rise in cortisol. Well, now if you are going, hours without eating, your body, your cortisol is hanging out up there because it's not feeling safe, because it's not coming down. Okay. And the same thing, if you're like me, you prefer to work out in the morning. If you're not actually nourishing your body with a little carbohydrate and protein before your workout in the morning, your cortisol is all the way up there. And so you may be doing your workouts on a regular basis, but if you're not having that for your body to build, now you're not just keeping your cortisol high, but you're also now burning your muscle, which is, we don't want to burn muscle, right? We want to burn fat. We don't want to burn muscle. We don't want to be in what's called a catabolic state. Okay. So that's important. And you guys, in our 9-week reset program, we use simple nutrition frameworks that actually straighten the key, that insulin key, so that you can restore your insulin sensitivity without doing crazy extreme dieting or, fasting all the time or not feeding yourself. I'll tell you, at South Bay Wellness, we see different things with our clients. So number one, We see clients who are not eating enough because they're afraid to eat, because they're afraid to gain weight, or because they're so dire to release weight that they start cutting their calories drastically. And one of the things that happens when you cut your calories drastically is you put your body in the state where it no longer feels safe. Okay. And then, of course, it's going to take work to refire up that metabolism because your body's smart. You're not eating. Okay, let's turn the fire down because your body wants to survive. It's always working out for your highest and best interest. Your body is always working out for your highest and best interest. And this is really important for everyone to really begin to realize. Our symptoms, any symptoms that you're having, they're all signals that your body is sending you that something is off or something doesn't feel safe for your body. So your symptoms are signals. And if all we're doing is suppressing those symptoms, right, then we're never actually hearing the signals and we're never actually resolving the signals. And when we don't resolve them, then we kind of end up down that downward slope, or down, with our health, it tends to be a downward spiral. Okay. All right. Foundation number six. This is our nervous system and stress. So our nervous system and stress is foundational to whether or not our body is going to release weight. So high cortisol, so cortisol is our stress hormone, right? Cortisol is, your body thinks you're running from the tiger. So it releases all the cortisol to get you out. It diverts all your body's energy to all your limbs. Okay. So it's no longer focused on rest. It's no longer focused on digestion. It's just, it's getting you to run from the tiger. Now, the problem is these days, it's like we are always running from the tiger. And that's not what the design of our body was originally. So, the science shows us that high cortisol directly increases body fat, directly. And no one is immune from this. Okay. No one is immune from it. It is the way that the body is designed to operate. You see, your nervous system is like the thermostat in your home. If it's constantly stuck on the high heat mode, then your house is going to overheat and you can't cool down no matter what it is that you try. So until you reset that thermostat, nothing actually works. In my house, it's usually the cold, right? My family likes to keep things really cold. And I'm like, guys, it's freezing in here. Turn that AC down during the summer anyway. So what's important, you guys, is when you're looking to release weight, you need to layer in nervous system tools, things like breath work, things like somatic resets, things like stress release techniques. All of these things are critical so that your body can finally feel safe and let go of the weight that it's holding and carrying with it. Okay, so that's foundation number 6. Foundation number 7. You guys, I've been in practice for nearly 20 years now, and I can tell you that without foundation number 7, weight release becomes pretty darn difficult. Not impossible. Nothing is ever impossible. Okay. But pretty darn difficult. And that is the role of community and accountability. Okay. Community and accountability. There was a study in the Journal of Behavioral Medicine in 2019, I believe. And what they found was that women who were in group programs for their weight loss were 65% more successful than those who were going solo. I'll repeat that again. Women in group programs for weight release, they were 65% more successful than women who were doing it on their own. Okay. I mean, think about it. It makes sense. It makes sense to me anyway. Think about like going to the gym alone versus going to the gym with a buddy. One kind of feels like it's optional and the other feels like it's accountable. So you guys, we need to be in positions where, we have some internal accountability is really important, but so is that external accountability, right? So you got to work both ends of that. It is, when I was at Columbia, I did a lot of work with a gentleman named Torrey Higgins, and he did some work with the hedonic principle, which is how human beings focus on either moving toward pleasure and avoiding pain. And we worked on this model of what we called prevention and promotion, and we did a lot of research studies and stuff on this. But you guys, the having to be accountable to other people, right? So you've got that, the side where you're really encouraged for weight release, for your own internal benefit, and so on and so forth, and that you're moving toward a specific goal. But the other side of it too is like when you're accountable, it's like, how many times do you want to say, oh, I didn't do what I was supposed to do? Right. And I use accountability throughout my life, right? I use accountability with my kids. But think about it. Our taxes are accountability. Like, here's your deadline. You better get it done. Accountability can help us really move the dial. Okay. Accountability can help us really move the dial. So that's an important piece. And then having a community where you're all kind of doing the same thing. There's, masterminds, for example, are really powerful. Why? Because you're bringing in that community element. You are now a part of something where everyone is focused on that same goal, and you're all working together, and you're sharing together, and you're moving forward step by step by step. Okay. So community and accountability are really important in order to get to that success thing. That's why, you guys, when we set up our 9-week True Body Reset, our weight release program that's coming up here starting September 24th, we made sure that there is a strong community element. So we are going to meet on a weekly basis as a community. If you can't make the community meeting, no problem. We'll have a replay for you, right? But so you still feel like you're part of that community. We're going to have our private messaging group, the same thing, where we can all be there to support each other and hold each other accountable and ask questions and figure things out and make the journey so much more easy, so much more enjoyable, because it should be enjoyable. Right? Releasing weight, reconnecting with your body, resetting, that should be a pleasurable experience. And we totally want that for you. So that is why we've set up those things in our 9-week True Body Reset program in that way. So, and I'll tell you, the reset program, it isn't just information, right? It's coaching, it's community, it's built-in accountability, right? There are going to be things that we are going to talk about that are going to blow your mind. You're like, oh my gosh, I never knew that. I never considered that, because these are not things that you're going to get as you're scrolling through TikTok or Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Okay. And the truth is, when we build in that community and that accountability piece, we all succeed as a community. So, all right, you guys, I see I am a couple minutes over for our Lunch and Learn Live today. Let me recap what we covered in those 7 foundations. And if you've joined in late, go back and listen. This will upload. It will live forever on our South Bay Wellness YouTube channel. It does stay in our Facebook community and our Facebook page, I think, for a little while before. I think Facebook gives it 30 days and then it removes the live videos. So we did cover 7 foundations today. Number 1, how your hormones shift your metabolism. Number 2, we talked about toxins and how toxicity will block fat loss. Number 3, we talked about sleep, the importance of sleep and breathing, right? They're actually more important than you might think. We talked about how cardio workouts are not the magic bullet. Okay. We talked about how blood sugar and insulin drive fat storage. Okay. We talked about the stress and nervous system and how stress and nervous system regulation are non-negotiable with weight loss. And then finally, we talked about how community and accountability is the glue that makes everything stick together. So I hope you guys have gotten golden nuggets from this talk. I mean, trying to release weight without addressing these things is really like trying to patch a leaky boat with duct tape. And it might hold for a little while, but you're still sinking. So what you need is a new vessel, a reset that's actually designed for the waters that you're now in, that midlife, that, in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, this period of life. So, and you guys, that's exactly why we created the 9-week True Body Reset. So I want to see you in there. It is a system that helps you apply these foundations in a step-by-step way with support, with accountability, with community, with real results. And you guys, we guarantee it, right? We guarantee that as long as you're following through the program in those 9 weeks, you're going to lose anywhere between 10 and 20 pounds. Sometimes people will lose more. It just depends on where your body weight is when you're starting. So if you'd like to see how that program works, you can definitely learn more. Go into the comments section and you can click on the link and it'll take you to that page. You can always ask us questions, you guys. That's important. So the real takeaway today, you guys, you're not stuck. Your body certainly is not misfunctioning. It is doing what it's supposed to do during this transition in life. And you simply need to know what the new rules are and follow the new rules. And when you honor them, you don't just release weight. You gain energy, you gain confidence, you gain freedom in your own body again. So I want that for each and every one of you. And we'll see you next week for next week's Lunch and Learn Live. All right, everyone. It was good to see you all and enjoy the rest of your holiday day. Bye, everyone.